Okay. Okay. Alright, so in this video we're going to review two-step equations. So this is equations you learned in 7th grade. And we are actually going to, sometimes we might have to, like in a situation where we have words, we might have to write the equation first. So let me go over that. First you would want to define the variable. So whatever the thing is that you don't know is going to be the variable. So you might use something like x to represent, that didn't work. You might use something like x to represent for you buy 3 books that each cost the same amount. We don't know the price of the book there, so we might use x to represent the cost of the book. Anyway, so while we're doing that, we're going to define a hook word, which tells us what the coefficient is. Remember, the coefficient is just the number that's attached to the variable. Those words are typically each, every, per, of, anything that would mean that there's multiple things happening. And then we're asking ourselves, are there any constants, like any flat fees, or does it say plus something, or is there a one-time charge, base fee, initial value, all of those things. So after you have an equation written, then you can solve the equation. To solve the equation for two-step equations, we're going to use these 3 steps. First, you're going to collect the constants on the opposite side of the variable. And you do that by using plus or minus, and then you isolate the variable by using multiply or divide. And then you want to, of course, check the equation. All right, so let's get started. We've got 5 equals 4a minus 7. So the first thing we're going to do is collect constants. We're going to collect constants on the opposite side. So I see that the variable 4a, the variable term 4a, is on the right side. So we're going to collect the constants, minus 7, to the other side with the 5. So instead of minus 7, to get rid of that, we'll have a plus 7. That's because minus 7 plus 7 makes 0. And you don't have to write plus 0 because that doesn't change the value of anything. So we're left with just 4a on the right-hand side. And then 5 plus 7 is 12 on the left-hand side. So we did the first step. There we go. Okay. And then next we need to isolate the variable using multiply or divide. Well, this says 4 times a, so if we divide by 4 on both sides, then 4 over 4 becomes 1. And now we have 1a on the right-hand side equals 12 divided by 4 is 3 on the left-hand side. So now we think that a equals 3. To check ourselves, that's the last step, check ourselves. We're going to rewrite the equation 5 equals 4a minus 7, but instead of the variable, I've left a blank spot. We're going to put the variable that we solved for in that spot. So now we have 5 equals 4 times 3 minus 7, and we're just going to make sure that both of those sides equal each other. So on the right-hand side, we've got 4 times 3 minus 7. You guys do get calculators in 8th grade, and I didn't solve that equation with one, so let's look here. 4 times 3 plus 7 is minus 7, I think. It said minus 7, that's right. Minus 7 is 5. Okay, so then we go back here. So we got 5 on this side, and then there's nothing to solve on that side. Does 5 equal 5? Yes. So I know we were right. Looking at the equation right beside that, we've got 3 minus 8c equals 35. 8c is the variable term, I guess negative 8c, and that's on the left, so we're going to start by getting rid of the 3. That's a positive 3, and 3 minus 3 leaves us with 0, so we'll want minus 3 on both sides. That leaves us with negative 8c equals 35 minus 3 is 32. The second step, we want to isolate the variable using multiply or divide. This is negative 8 times c, and to get rid of multiply, we should divide by the exact same thing we multiplied by. So we're not only dividing by 8, we're dividing by -8 to get rid of the negative sign as well. That leaves us with 1c equals 32 divided by -8, or -4. Now I'm ready to check my work. We've got 3 minus 8 times whatever c is equals 35. Well, we said c should be -4. Okay, so now we're going to type that into our calculator. Type the left-hand side into your calculator. When you typed that in, you should have got 35. I'll show you guys how to type this one. So we've got 3 minus 8 times -4. Remember, you do need that negative. You can use the minus sign. It functions the same way. So we've got 35 equals 35, which means we were right. Okay, I'm looking at the next equation on the left. We've got -3.7 minus 6.4x equals 47.5. First step, we're going to move the constants away from the variable. So the variable is 6.4x. We want to get rid of the constants -3.7. The opposite of -3.7 would be +3.7. So we're going to add 3.7 on both sides. That'll leave us with 0 minus 6.4x on the left. So we have negative 6.4x on the left. And then we've got, that'd be 51.2 on the right. After that, we're going to isolate the variable. This says -6.4 times x, so we will divide by -6.4. -6.4 divided by itself is 1, so I know I'm left with 1x, or just x. Okay, and then for the right-hand side, I don't want to do the division in my head. It's 51.2 divided by 6.4, -6.4, and divided by. And that is -8. Oops. X equals -8. Okay, next step is to check ourselves. So we have a -3.7 minus 6.4 times whatever x is equals 47.5. X is -8. So now we'll type that in, -3.7 -3.7 minus, I think it was 6.4. 6.4 times -8. And we get 47.5, which I believe is exactly what we wanted, yep. So we got 47.5 equals 47.5, which means we were correct. Looking at the next equation, this says a over 2 minus 7 equals 9. So I see the variable term a is on the left, so we want to get rid of the constants on the left. That says -7, so we'll start by adding 7. It's going to leave us with 0 plus a over 2, or just a over 2. And then 9 plus 7 is 16. Okay, that says a over 2, which is the same as a divided by 2. Since this is currently dividing, we want to multiply by 2. That's what gets rid of the 2 there. So then on the other side, we have to multiply by 2. This leaves us with 1a, because those 2's made 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Equals 16 times 2 is 32. Now I'm going to go ahead and check my work. Leave open parentheses in place of the a. Should equal 9. We think that a is 32. So I need 32 over 2 minus 7. And that's 9. Now we have that 9 equals 9, meaning we were correct. Okay. 15 minus w over 4 equals 28. The variable term is on the left-hand side, w over 4, which means we want to get rid of the constants on that side, 15. So minus 15 from both sides. That's going to leave us with negative w over 4, because the 15's made 0, equals 13. Second step is to isolate the variable. The variable is w, and to isolate it, we need to do the opposite of divide or multiply whatever is currently there. Well, right now it says divided by, so we're going to multiply. We want to multiply by the 4, but also the negative. That way we get rid of both things. So we're going to multiply by negative 4 to cross that out. Negative 4. Okay, and now we've got that 1w on the left-hand side equals negative 52 on the right-hand side. So now we can go check our work. 15 minus w over 4 should equal 28. And we said that w was negative 52. Go ahead and type that into the calculator. We have 15 minus, and we've got negative 52 over 4. We get 28. Which is exactly what we wanted. So now we have 28 equals 28, which means we were right. W does equal negative 52. Looking right below that, now we've got negative 1/2 x minus 7 equals 11. I see a fraction here, but we can't freak out. Fractions are just part of things now, and we get the calculator, so it's not a big deal. So gonna start by moving the constants to the other side. I see that the variable term is on the left, so we're going to start by getting rid of the constants on the left. So instead of minus 7, we need plus 7. Now I've got 18 on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, the 7's made 0, so we have negative 1/2 x. That says negative 1/2 times x, so now we have to divide by negative 1/2 to get rid of that. We'll divide by negative 1/2 on both sides. I know that a number divided by itself leaves us with 1, so we'll have 1x, or just x, equals 18 divided by negative 1/2. We need 18 divided by negative 1/2. It does look a little funky, but here we have negative 36. Pause. What do I do? 11 plus 7 is 18. Did I type in 18 divided by negative 1/2? Got negative 36. Oh. Okay, I'm still, all right. 18 divided by negative 1/2 is negative 36. Okay, so now we have that for x. I thought I was on the other step of checking my work. So now we have negative 1/2 times whatever x should be minus 7. We should have that equal to 11. Well, we think that x is negative 36. So now I can go ahead and type that in. Negative 1/2 times negative 36 minus 7. Negative 1/2 times negative 36 minus 7 is 11. Now we have 11 equals 11, which means we're right. Okay, we're only going to do one of the word problems, I think. We'll write the word problems, and then we won't solve them. That's what I was going to do. Okay, so you buy 3 books that each cost the same amount and a magazine, all for $55.99. The magazine costs $1.99. How much did each book cost? So the thing that we don't know is going to be the variable. It says how much did each book cost. So we'll make the variable, we'll call it X, and we'll say that's the cost of each book. Okay, well, now we're going to go back through the problem and read. Everywhere we see the cost of a book, we're going to replace it with X. So we said you buy 3 books that each cost the same amount. So books that each cost the same amount is going to get replaced with X. So we have 3X. And we also buy a magazine. So we're adding to our total here. We're also buying a magazine. And I know that that magazine costs $1.99. Now this is all for $55.99 total. So we know that to spend $55.99 total, we bought 3 books at X dollars each. And we bought 1 magazine at $1.99 each. So we have 3X from our 3 books each plus $1.99 equals the total $55.99. Okay, next we've got Chemo's car needs to be fixed. The mechanic charged him $130 for parts and $40 per hour for labor. If Chemo's bill totaled $270, how many hours of labor were required? So this is asking us about the hours of labor. So we're going to make our variable hours of labor. And now we can go through and read the problem again, and anywhere we see it talking about hours of labor, we're going to replace it with X. Chemo's car needs to be fixed. The mechanic charged him $130 for parts and $40 per hour for labor. So that $40 per hour is going to get replaced with X. That leaves us with $130 for parts, and also adding to his total $40 for every hour, or 40X. Equals 270 from his total. The next problem says to get rid of ads on Candy Crush, Miss Blackshear paid a one-time fee of $2.75. She also bought extra lives on sale for 10 cents each. If she spent $5.05, how many extra lives did she buy? The question here is asking about how many extra lives were bought. So we're going to have our X equal extra lives bought. Okay, this says to get rid of ads on Candy Crush, Miss Blackshear paid a one-time fee of $2.75, and she also bought extra lives for 10 cents each. So 10 cents each is talking about our extra lives, which means this is going to be 10 cents times X. To write 10 cents, we're going to use decimal 10. If we use decimal 01, that says 1 cent. Okay, so we'll have our 10 cents per life. We also bought just a one-time fee to get rid of ads, and altogether we spent $5.05. This is saying that $2.75 for an ad-free game plus all of the extra lives makes this much total. That is 2-step equations. That's all I have for you today. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, please don't hesitate to